In this video, I'll show the installation of the FreePBX server. I'm going to create a new virtual machine. So I'm going to use VMware Workstation, create a new virtual machine. I want to choose the custom or the advanced options. I'll keep it as hardware compatible with Windows Workstation 12 and click Next. I'll install the operating system later, and it will be a Linux CentOS 64-bit operating system. Go ahead and click Next. I'm going to name the machine FreePBX. I'm going to put it on my portable drive. Make a new folder, FreePBX. I'll keep it as one processor, but I will upgrade the memory to 2 gigs. Definitely want to make sure this is going to be a bridge network. We need to have this on our physical network, not in its own private netted environment. I'll keep the LSI logic for an I/O controller, keep a SCSI hard drive, create a new virtual disk, but I'm going to upgrade the disk to a 40 gig hard drive instead of just 20. This is optional, but you can click on store the virtual disk as a single file. I'm going to do that now, but you certainly can keep it as multiple files. Click Next on the name of the virtual disk file name, and then click Finish. The next step is to install the CD into the CD-ROM drive. I click on CD DVD, and I want to browse for the FreePBX ISO image file. I download the 64-bit, and then click OK. I'm now going to power on this virtual machine. And I'm going to hit Enter on the full install. For the IP support, I'm going to use the arrow keys, and I'm going to arrow down underneath Enable IP version 4 support, and I click on Manual Configuration. I'm also going to continue to arrow down to enable IP version 6, hit the space bar again, and that will disable IP version 6 support. Arrowing down one more time brings me to the OK. I hit Enter on OK. Since I chose to manually configure the IP address, it's going to bring me to the manual configuration page. Make sure you hit the numlock page because by default the virtual machines are going to be having the numlock off. I'm going to type in the IP address that's been assigned for this machine. In this case, it's going to be 172.16.167.55. I'm going to tab over then, and it's just a slash. You can use the CIDR format, so /20, 24, or whatever it's going to be, or you can type in the full default gateway. With our network configuration, this would be 255.255.240.0. The next is the default gateway. The default gateway for this network is 172.16.160.1. I hit tab again, brings the name server, which is a DNS server, which is 172.16.160.102. Hit tab one more time, it brings me to the OK button, and I hit Enter. I then let the install. It comes to the time zone selection, and I hit Tab to bring me down from using the system clock to choosing the actual time zone. And I'm going to go up to Chicago, America, Chicago. Once it's highlighted, I can hit the Tab key again so that the OK button is highlighted, and I click OK. It wants me to enter a password for the root user account. I'm going to use our special password, capital $PA$$W0RD, and tab down and repeat that. Hit Enter to get down to OK, and then hit Enter on the OK. It does say that this is a weak password, and it certainly is. We're going to use it anyway, just for class reasons. You're going to want to make this a very strong password. If someone breaks into your system, they can end up making calls on your account. Arrowing over to use anyway, I hit Enter, and then I let it do its install. This process can take a very long time and take many minutes to install. At times it seems like it's going to stall or get stuck. Please be patient, it will continue. And the very first thing it's going to do when it reboots is it's going to test for the internet access. This is how you're going to know if you installed everything correctly. If it did not pass the internet test, it's going to tell you to use Control-Alt-F1 to continue on, but you have to go back and make sure you get those settings changed. It can be done within Linux. It might be easiest, actually, though time-consuming, just to reinstall it, making sure that you have all the settings correct. The main things to be watching for are that you are using a bridged network connection when you're setting up the virtual machine, and making sure that all your IP addressing information is correct, either for the classroom network or for your home network. If that still looks all right, then check for your physical network connections and make sure that you can get to the internet. Once it does detect and determine that your internet access test has passed, it will go ahead and download all the updates for the FreePBX modules. It's kind of like installing Windows operating system for the first time and then automatically doing all the Windows updates. This will take several minutes, and it will reboot when you're done. After the system reboots, it's going to bring you to the login screen. We're going to log in. Our username is going to be root, and our password is going to be our special password. It's going to show us that we do have an IP address. That's very important, 172.16.167.55. If it does not show up there, that does mean that something's not configured right or it's not working properly. And again, you can go back through Linux and try to figure it out, or else just reinstall it and double checking to make sure all those settings are correct on that manual TCP/IP IP version 4 configuration screen. One of the first things that we want to do is install VMware Tools. It updates the drivers for this machine. It is Linux based, so it's going to be command line driven. The steps are written out, but I'll show them to you here as well. I need to hit Control-Alt to get out of this screen, and I do need to still go up at the top, VM, install VMware Tools. That's going to activate the process internally and basically mount a virtual CD-ROM drive. So the commands I need to type in then are going to be cd mount, and I'm going to make a directory called CD-ROM. And then I'm going to type the mount command, mount dev CD-ROM space mount CD-ROM. I'm going to change directories to my temp directory, and from the temp directory I'm going to extract using the tar command zxvf for the mount CD-ROM VMware Tools. And if you hit the tab key, it's going to type the whole thing out for you, so you don't have to type the whole thing out exactly. So using the tab key, tab complete. After it's done extracting, we're going to change directories to the VMware Tools distribution. Again, the tab complete comes in handy. And then I'm going to run the installation using /VMware install.pl. It's going to come up with many options, or many prompts. We're going to use the default for all of these, so just hit enter anytime that you see a prompt. When it's all done, we're going to restart the virtual machine just to make sure everything is applied properly. So I can use the shutdown command, shutdown-R, to do a restart, and I want it to happen now. After it restarts, I'm going to log back in using my root and special password to log in, and everything is looking fine. This is the time I want to take my initial base image snapshot so that I know that I'm starting from a clean spot in case I need to go back and reconfigure anything else later on. I need to do that while the machine is shut down. At least that's the best way of doing it. I'm going to use the shutdown command, but this time I'm going to use this -H. The -H means halt, -R means reboot. So I do want to actually halt the system. Once it's down, I can go up to the VM menu, snapshot, take a snapshot, and I'm going to call my base this first snapshot base image. And that's how I install, configure FreePBX at the basic level, how I installed VMware Tools, and how I took the initial snapshot.